here I am embarking on a mission to write an album that each song is inspired by a different location in Northern Ireland, and I'm visiting each location to get some inspiration. And so here I am today at the Dark Hedges, which is apparently one of Northern Ireland's most photographed locations, and you would recognise it from being in Game of Thrones season 2 episode 1 to be precise. It is the King's Road whenever Arya is escaping as a boy. Spoiler alert. So yeah, I'm here to try and get some inspiration and see if I can't film a few nice shots of the beautiful Dark Hedges. I've already not had much luck today as I was walking and got told off for walking in the wrong direction. So, as always, nothing's ever smooth sailing. But unfortunately, these birch trees are several hundred years old, and so they're kind of coming to the end of their life, and with the exposure to the elements and just nature taking its course, they are falling over. And so you can see the workmen are out here today taking some of them down. So that's why I wanted to get out here, because I actually haven't been here before and I thought I should come see them before they all disappear, but hopefully they're going to replant them for future. The iconic view that makes the Dark Hedges so well photographed is this view right here. And of course today I'm having no luck because they're taking the trees down. I would say that today has been a bit of a disaster in that I can't really film anything here, and I can't even get any nice videos of anything. But the point of today was to get some inspiration for the song, and really the whole album is about nature and how it changes and how we have to look after it. So I suppose this is quite an appropriate way to start it off. Today is also St. Bridget's Day, and she is the patron saint of poetry and music and nature. So it seems quite appropriate to be starting this today. It's also Imbolc, which is like a celebration of the coming of spring and the coming of brighter days. And I even saw my first little baby lambs today in the field, so it was very cute. For the song, I do already have a little harp accompaniment part written to it. I wanted to write it for harp because the Dark Hedges is known for, hence the name Dark Hedges, is known for being quite a mysterious place. So I thought the harp was a suitable instrument, as it's an ancient instrument and can create that real mystical fairy tale sort of sound. So the harp part goes something like this. I'll play it in the background. I'm sure this is normally a very pretty view, but today it's just a road with trees on it. I had hoped to be sitting here on the road with my harp and playing, and it looked really mystical and mysterious, but you're just gonna have to use your imagination. Alright, here's not bad angle. This is probably the best I can get, so I'm gonna try this. Hit record on that, and I was like, finally I have a shot, and a massive group of tourists have just arrived. Alright, that's it. I'm going home. It's because life is super cruel that way. You have to pay to get out of the parking, and my coin is stuck. And so now I can't get out. Do you think maybe the universe is trying to tell me something? So it took my card payment. I had to forgo the coins that I'd put into the machine, and it took the card payment and lifted the barrier and immediately dropped it again. It wouldn't give me any time to get out. So now I'm gonna have to go and figure, because I'm done. I just want to go home. So it's a couple of days later. I decided I needed to sort of distance myself from the day that I visited the Dark Hedges, because I just had such bad luck that day that I thought I'll have better luck trying to film this part of the video if I just give it a bit of time. So it's a few days later, and as I said earlier, I'm wanting to write a whole bunch of songs about each specific location in Northern Ireland. And I'm wanting to make these videos to document the process, mostly as a way to get myself to do it, because if I don't have like a hard deadline to do something, I'm just never going to do it. It's just never going to get done. So, and as I started this channel originally, nearly 4 years ago now, it was February 2020 when I started this channel, and it was to help me learn how to record music. And then I kind of ended up doing lots of cover songs and stuff. And then now I can't do cover songs anymore. So instead I want to write more music, and I find that making these videos does help me actually stick to something. So yeah, just an unfortunate start to this project. Hopefully it's not a sign of how things are to go in the future. Hopefully everything after this will be a little bit easier. But it was an interesting start anyway, because I actually thought that this song was going to be about the Dark Hedges, about the sort of mysterious story around them, or maybe about the like ghost stories or things like that. And actually I think the song, I want it to be about how nature does change, about how nothing lasts forever. And even though we tend to think of nature and landscape sort of always remaining the same, they do change over time. And it was kind of interesting there to see something that has been quite iconic in Northern Ireland. It's one of the most photographed locations apparently. So interesting to see how it has reached the end of its life. Those trees were planted, I think, over 200 years ago, and they're birch trees and they don't last particularly long apparently. So they are becoming dangerous and they're falling down in storms and stuff, so they're having to cut them down. And I don't know if they're replanting them or not, but yeah, it's interesting to see how something that is quite iconic and it's been there for centuries is now going to look very different. And so I think this song is going to be inspired by that instead, which is probably a much more interesting song anyway than just a song that's kind of like about a made up ghost story. So I'm going to try and write a little bit more of the song now. I already have the harp accompaniment that I've already written for it, which if you're a member of the coffee club, you'll have already heard. It was kind of came out of an improvisation that I was doing on the harp a couple of weeks ago. Actually, during the really windy storm that affected quite a lot of the trees in the Dark Hedges, so maybe that was a serendipitous thing that happened, that I improvised on the harp and created this little tune. And I already have an idea of the melody, but I don't have any lyrics yet. I have 1 or 2 bits of lyrics, and I think I just need to sit down and actually pen to paper and start to get some ideas out. So I already have the harp accompaniment that goes like this. And I have an idea of the melody to sing over the top of it, but at the minute I've just kind of been singing it to ooh or ah or just the las or whatever. So I'm gonna have a think about some ideas for lyrics. So I'm gonna do what I always do, which is kind of just make a little bubble in the middle of the page and stick down any ideas that kind of come to mind and see if any lyrics come out of that. And I try not to think too hard about this. Anything that pops into my head, I stick it down, whether it's cheesy or rubbish or whatever. If it's nonsense, I just stick it down anyway and see if anything comes of it. So I've jotted down some ideas just as a little cloud diagram thing, and I already have sort of a verse mapped out. I think this will end up being the second verse, I think. It's turned out a little morbid perhaps. So I don't know, I'm thinking about it, but goes a little bit like this. No silver, no bronze, no gold can ever purchase the beauty that time has spent. Here we are left with our imagination of where the time has went. Over and over the years keep on flying. This is nature's curse, the aging and the dying. So I'm pretty sure that will be definitely not the first verse anyway. So perhaps the second verse or maybe come later, but I'm happy with that. So a good start so far, and I have a couple of ideas of parts of lines, so I need to figure out the rest of the words to kind of, at the minute I only have like half of a line. You know, I know how the line wants to end, but if that makes sense. It's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. I've like the corners, but I can't figure out the rest of it. There was a line I had in my head where it would be here where the oak tree grows, but I realised that they're not oak trees. I thought they were oak trees, but they're birch trees, and I just don't like the line here the birch trees grow, so I think I'm going to change it to here where the old trees grow, because they are old trees. But I don't know what part of the song that's coming in, but that's like an example where I have a bit of an idea, but I don't know where it is. Where the old tree grows, but change can seem so slow. What remains when we are gone? So here I have I've left a blank where there'll be a line there, and then the line that I want here, another blank, and then two more blanks. So at this point I'm literally just filling in the blanks and trying to make sure that everything rhymes and makes sense as well. I'm thinking about the rhyming pattern, so in the second verse this line rhymes with this line, so I have to make sure that this line rhymes with this line, and this line rhymes with this line, and that works. So these two lines don't need to rhyme, but I need to get this one to rhyme with this one. What rhymes with gone? Brawn, fawn, yamon, lawn, pawn, prawn. Though I don't know if you would get many prawns in the forest. Okay, I have a first verse now. I'm pretty sure this one is the first verse. I'm not sure if the next one will be the second verse or if it'll come later on, but this is what I have so far. Standing in shadows of the ancient, here where the old trees grow, time seems to have no sense or purpose, and change can seem so slow. But even the trees and we too shall pass on. All things have an end. What remains when we are gone? No silver, no bronze or gold can ever purchase the beauty that time has spent. Now we are left with our imagination of where the time has went. Over and over the years keep flying. This is nature's curse, the aging and the dying. It might be a fairly short song, And I also didn't really get any footage really at the Dark Hedges, so the video is going to be pretty short. I'm not really too sure how the video is going to turn out, but I'm pretty sure the idea of the song that I have is fairly short anyway. Yeah, there's a little bit in the middle. The accompaniment goes like this. Have sort of that bridge bit in the middle that I still need to write, and perhaps another verse. I've had a tea break and I've had time to think about the bridge section, so I think I've finished that part, and so I just have one verse left. So the new bridge part goes like this. So one pass through of that, and then one final verse. So I need to think about how I'm going to wrap up the song. The first verse is kind of about how it seems like these things will last forever. It seems like, you know, these trees that have been around for hundreds of years will continue to be there for hundreds of years, and it seems like it doesn't change because it happens so slowly that we never see things happen, and it's not until we compare to what it was like years ago that we can kind of see what the change is. And then the second line is kind of about how, you know, things that were once beautiful over time are no longer beautiful, or that they're changed, or that they're different, and that's the curse of nature is that things will always change, and that beauty is fleeting, and eventually everything will age and die, which is the morbid part, but let's skip past that. And then the bridge part is about protecting these things and preserving these things, and preserving the memory at least, and not forgetting about these things. So I think I want the last bit to be on a happier note, that endings are new beginnings, and that hopefully with the trees, if they replant them, and they'll regrow and they'll be different, but they'll be new, and the memory of things will be preserved. So I kind of have to think of a coherent way to write that down. Standing in shadows of the ancient, here where the old trees grow, let new life and spirit to surface. Okay, I think I have the last verse. Standing in shadows of the ancient, here where the old trees grow, let new life and spirits resurface, learn to let them go. All endings have their own new beginnings, this is the way we are, and this is how we live forever. So I think that's how the song will end as well. It'll not be on the piano, it will be on the harp, but it's easier to write, for the piano than for the harp. While I'm still trying to learn how to play the harp, that it's quite hard to try and, when I know how I want it to go, but I can't quite make my hands do what I want them to do. So far the whole song goes like this. Standing in shadows of the ancient, here where the old trees grow, time seems to have no sense or purpose, and change can seem so slow. But even the trees and we too shall pass on, all things have an end. What remains when we all silver, bronze, or gold can never purchase the beauty that time has spent. Now we are left with our imagination of where the time has went. Over and over the years keep on flying. This is nature's curse, the aging and the dying. And there'll probably be another version here somewhere, and then please preserve us, help us as we all must. Protect those who need when all have been forgotten. Then an instrumental verse. And then skipping to the last verse. Standing in shadows of the ancient, here where the old trees grow, let new life and spirits resurface, learn to let them go. All endings have their own new beginnings. This is the way we are, and this is how we live forever. Could end on a major chord, perhaps, but I'm not sure how long that all is together. There will be an intro to the song and a little bit between the sort of second verse and the bridge part, and then an instrumental verse and the final verse. So it's not the longest song in the world, but it's not the shortest song either. All in all, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, because I had originally thought that the song was going to be about something else, and I think actually my experience of being there and seeing them cutting the trees down and thinking I had in my head what I wanted the place to look like. I wanted this, that and the other, and at the end of the day it's nature and it changes, and I don't have any control over that. I don't have control over the weather. If I go to somewhere and it's raining or snowing or really windy weather, or if it's a really sunny day, I can't control that. And the point of the album is kind of to shine a light on these places that are, you know, these beautiful natural landscapes, and to also think about how we can protect these places, how we can preserve them so that they will last a bit longer. They probably will inevitably change, as everything does, but just to try and make everything last as long as possible. So I think this is a good song to start on. I'm happy with how it's turned out, and I always feel there's like a sense of satisfaction when I've finished a song, that it's like it's there, it's complete. And so now I have the fun part of putting it on my computer, actually recording all the parts to it and making it sound like how it sounds in my head. At the minute, how you're hearing it right now is completely different to the way in my head it sounds. So I'm excited to share that with you, and hopefully I will have a music video out for it soon. It also needs a title. I don't know what to call it. I could call it The Dark Hedges, but I don't know. So if you have some ideas of what the title of the song could be, I would love to hear suggestions, because I just can never come up with a good title for anything. When I do eventually have the song finished and the video finished, or whatever happens to this song, I will leave something linked in the description below so that you can find the completed song. And I'll probably play this in my next live stream, so do keep an eye out on my channel for when my next live stream will be. The best way to do that is to actually sign up to my email list, because I do try and send out an email in advance of when I know I've got a live stream coming up, or I let you know whenever I've got a new video out. So sign up to my email list if you're interested in that. And if you'd like to support this journey and support my music, I do have a Ko-fi page as well, which I'll also link down below. It's just a one-off way you can help support the channel if you want to. You can also get access to some exclusive videos, like the sort of improvisation video that I was mentioned earlier, and lots of other things as well. And you'll also get your name added to the credits of the video just like so. But thank you so much for being here, for joining me today. I hope this was of some interest to somebody out there. If not, it was a good way for me to actually force myself to sit down at the piano and write this song, because I never would have done it otherwise, and to also rant about my really bad luck that I had the other day. So anyway, I will see you again in my next video.